Two videos in one day. I haven't done this very often, but Dejan Stanković is no longer the manager of Red Star Belgrade. He has resigned from his post. Miloš Milojević will be taking over, who was coincidentally an assistant under Dejan Stanković until he left for Hammarby, and then later on this season went to Malmo, where he was there for a handful of games, and then he left Malmo and was a free agent essentially, and decided to sign with Red Star. I think that this is a lot of pressure from not making the Champions League and from not beating Maccabi Haifa. The team invested a lot of money, or I should say, the upper management invested a lot of money into the team, and we couldn't get to Champions League, and I think that was the ultimate goal. I think we'll downplay a lot of this stuff. The upper management will say, Europa League is fine, but ultimately they wanted to get to Champions League. The funds that you would get just for making Champions League would have been great for the club. But I think at the end of the day, the pressure of not making it, I think, was too much. And it's interesting because a lot of it has been hush-hush since Red Star lost to Maccabi Haifa. There hasn't been much said from pretty much from anybody from the Red Star organization. So it's interesting that this news comes ahead of tomorrow's match against Javor at Maracana Stadium. But yeah, I think the pressure just got to Stanković. We've been eliminated by a number of teams the last 3 years. From Omonia, from Cyprus 2 seasons ago, last season against Sheriff, and then this season against Maccabi Haifa. And I think if you ask a lot of people, they would tell you that we were expected to beat all those teams and to go through. The Omonia stuff is a little bit different because it was only one leg. It was during, when I think that was when COVID had started. So it was only one leg, and we played in Cyprus, and we just lost on I think it was penalties, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't watch that tie, so I can't really remember now. But yeah, a lot of expectations this season. I think this season we probably had the most expectations of any team in the last maybe like 30 years or something, because there were, like I said, a lot of money was invested in positions of need. We brought in players. We didn't make it to Champions League. I hope this doesn't spiral now into the Europa League. I hope that mentally that the players can get, behind this, or leave the Maccabi 2 matches kind of behind them and move on and focus on, domestic league and Europa League. But yeah, this is I think very tough to take. We'll see what happens now with the players that we bring in, maybe some of the players that leave. Just kind of caught off guard. I read the news that Miloš Milojević was taken over before I saw that Stanković had been, or Stanković resigned, or whatever, sacked, whatever the case may be. So, the headline was Miloš Milojević takes over the red and whites, and I thought, it's usually clickbaity, and, red and whites could mean like Olympiacos or something like that. And then the news, under it was that Dejan Stanković had left Red Star. So we'll see what happens with Stanković now. For sure, we'll get a proposal from a club in Italy, 100%. Familiar with the language, played in the league for a number of years. There was rumors about Sampdoria. I think it was last season, middle of last season, I think during the winter break. But yeah, as a manager, I honestly, I didn't think he was too bad. I just think that when the matches came down to those little things that could kind of sway a match, I don't think he was very good at those. Like I mentioned, the substitutions that he made against Maccabi Haifa in the first match, they weren't that great. It was just a bunch of guys who hadn't played a lot this season that he kind of threw out there in the last 20, 25 minutes, and he took off all the players who could kind of make a difference. And Red Star almost conceded again, and then, we would have had to come back from an even bigger deficit. The second leg, Sunic starting and playing the entire match, I think raised a lot of questions. I think Oki and a lot of the offensive players didn't really get a chance to play, which also raised other questions. Milan Pavkov has left, so what happens with the center forward position? You have Pešić there. Does Oki have a bigger role now? I hope that's the case. There's still a CDM that we need, a right back, a center forward if Oki does leave. So there's still a lot of questions to be answered on this team. But his reign as a whole, I mean, 3 titles, 2 double crowns. The only thing that's kind of like a black mark on his resume is those losses, like I said. And Milos Milojevic coming in now, he's a little bit of a different coach. He's more of a 4-3-3 formation from what I've read. We'll see how the team, kind of adapts to that. And if he does go with that 4-3-3 formation, or is he going to go with the traditional 4-2-3-1, which is what Stanković kind of did. But Stanković he really prepared. He wasn't married to the 4-2-3-1. He would go with a 4-1-4-1. 4-4-2 is something that he used often last season. 4-5-1, I think we used a couple times. And yeah, just shocking news that just kind of came out half an hour ago or so. So I wish Dejan Stanković the best going forward. I obviously wish Milos Milojevic the best as he joins Red Star. Like I said, he's familiar with the club, so I think that kind of gives him that a little bit of a boost. He kind of knows a lot of the players that are already here, and then he could kind of implement his stamp, his blueprint on the team going forward. And hopefully this means great things for the team ahead in Europa League and the domestic league.